The
And that's a
second
perfect
segment today
segue.
into why
And
you
why
suck.
I
Not
suck.
you.
Not
You.
you. You.
You.
Why
Why you
you
suck.
suck in tournaments and how to be better prepared so you suck less.
Oh, we have look at I didn't turn on my comment section. All these people were writing stuff.
Yeah, the best comment was by Rob Johnson when you're going on and on about
Oh,
your
I saw that. I don't even know
Grandpa
about
Simpson talking
I,
about onions on his belt because that was the style at the time. But they
I
didn't
didn't
have any white onions because of the war, so they had to get yellow onions.
I have no idea what that's all about.
Old man yells at the sky. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I've
So
never
how
seen The Simpsons, so I'm sorry.
you've never what?
You heard me. You
You've
know
never
what? There's a list of things I've never done. That is one. The other one was that dumbass movie with the lamp. Okay, and that'll never happen.
which is a beautiful lamp back there. It really ties your office
It
together.
does. It ties it together. It brings all of the memorabilia together with the leg.
Did you ever figure out where that lamp came from? Did
I'm not
you in
even.
all your investigations with you called
You
the
know what?
company, right?
I did. I called the company, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pursue it any longer. If you don't come clean, that's it. So
That's it. What?
that's it. I'm not gonna
What?
tell you anything. I
What
did.
do
I
you
called the company, and they said for me to call back. They would look up who ordered it for me, and I
and
didn't do
then
that. I didn't do it.
you didn't call back?
I didn't call back.
Oh, it's old news now.
Now it is. They won't bother with me now.
Yeah.
So, but it's
You
an
should
excellent gift. I thank whoever did it.
it really lights up the room. Let me
I
tell
wish
you.
I knew who it was. I'll send them a
It
ball.
it wasn't me. I just
Okay,
want to
I
let
don't
you know.
believe you. I don't believe you.
And it wasn't Jim Young. Jim saying he did it. It wasn't Jim.
It wasn't Jim. So, whoever
So
did it, I'm going to send the ball. So come clean. Well, there'd be like 85 guys in there.
yeah, exactly right. We're gonna have 100 comments here. That's one way to get a ton of comments.
I'm going to get a staff. I'm going to give a staff contract to whoever sent me the lamp.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got his fingers crossed out off camera there, guys. Don't fall
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
So okay, so how many times? I'm talking to everybody in the chat. How many
Okay.
times have you gone to nationals or gone bowled a regional or something of magnitude, and you you're feeling good, you go there, and all of a sudden you just completely bomb out of the tournament, and you shake your head leaving. What the hell happened?
How did I perform so poorly?
How? What? I can't even do anything right. Why? What's the big deal? What's the difference here? Why did I completely fail at this tournament? And we have a good little presentation for you, and we're going to talk about it all. And you guys can chime in with questions and comments. We're reading the chat with you guys.
Yeah, please do.
So let's start with the number, and these are in no particular order, really. I mean, we kind of organized it a little bit, but a lot of different points and counterpoints here. So, first one, you're out of your element. So,
I think that's
one,
the biggest one for a first timer.
sure, for the first time.
And no matter what tournament it is, it can be a local house tournament.
Hmm.
If you've never bowled a tournament, you have to get the feel. You know what? And I'll give some advice. If you're bowling a tournament for the first time, and I don't know how many people tune in are first timers, don't bowl the first squad of the tournament. If there's a multiple squad tournament, do not bowl the first squad.
Yeah.
Go look around, walk around, watch,
Get a
get
feel for
comfortable.
for
Yeah,
everything. Get kind of acclimated to the building and
absolutely,
just the
absolutely.
feel of the place and
Yeah, yeah. Don't bowl
the
that first
vibe.
squad where they good morning bowlers, welcome to the blah blah blah, good luck and good bowling, and you've never bowled a tournament before, so
Mhm.
you don't know the cross, you don't know
Yeah, it
the
could be a no.
pattern.
It could be a no tap tournament, but it's different still.
Just absolutely, just go watch the first squad. That's one advice I give to every first time bowler. Don't bowl the first squad,
Right. Well,
or just throw your money away.
yeah,
You
for
know,
your first tournament, there's
yeah,
a tournament out west, which is a pretty prestigious event, the Modesto Masters, and they have two squads, A and B. Okay, so A is limited to how many people is a 32 lane house, I think. So they limit it to 64,
right.
two on a lane, and then B squad, they don't turn anyone away. So if you want to bowl the tournament, so it is very imperative for that tournament to get on A squad because you could be bowling on a pair that has
Yeah,
8
10 bowlers
people
on it.
instead of
Right.
4,
Right.
and that pattern is going to break down where you're not going to,
Absolutely.
and the
Absolutely.
scoring pace is high. It's just a house shot.
Right. Right.
So it's
Yeah.
very important to get on the A squad at all
Yeah.
costs.
In that case. Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, number one is you're not bowling league. You get into a groove. You got your table, you got your little setup. Your center. You're very familiar. You know, you say hi to the snack bar lady, the bar lady, the front desk person.
Right.
You know what the lanes do. You know what the approaches are. You know,
Yep. But you go to a
uh,
strange house, they all
yeah,
come into play. It all comes into play.
sure. Everything's different.
You
And
know.
also the
Right.
format. When you go bowl a
Yeah.
regional, you have to learn a
Mhm.
few things. You're not just
Yeah.
staying on. You're bowling 8 games of qualifying typically in a regional. At least that's what it was before, 8 or 9.
Right.
So you have to move every game,
Yep.
and sometimes those moves aren't just one pair over. Sometimes I've done one, and then two, then three, and then it goes changes like that. But then
Yep.
the big one I see for new bowlers
I just
is
saw that.
learning the lane courtesy,
Yeah, the double jump rule. That's incredible.
double
I
jump.
go, I go, you go, he goes, I go.
Right.
Hmm.
If you don't know the double jump courtesy,
Right.
and you're trying to figure it out on the fly. I've seen so many new bowlers get taken completely out of the tournament just because they can't get the double jump right.
And
It
the
gets in
guy
the
on the pin next to you is yelling at you
right.
because you double jumped him.
Yeah. You got you got a seasoned veteran next to you just staring at you, giving you daggers.
Or the other one is the guy next to you is horrible and he's still yelling at you because he's got nothing better to do and he's bowling bad.
Mhm.
But you're double jumping him. But when
Right.
you have a veteran doing it, it's a little different. Now your tournament's basically done because you don't know if I should worry about bowling or when do I get up on the approach.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's you got to know the rule in that. I bowled tournaments where the left lane went left and the right lane went right.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's another different thing. If you forget
Yeah.
that, sure, you end up on the wrong pair and people are looking for you. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't bowl with you guys before. That's right. You're not supposed to. Or you only bowl with the two guys on your lane.
Yeah.
You get over there and go, this guy's new, but so
Yeah.
are the other guys. What happened to
Yeah.
my guys?
Yeah, can you imagine being like a 22-year-old rookie and getting yelled at by Pete Weber 3 pairs over? Or
I
who
got
who
yelled at in the
who was a
PBA style.
hothead back in the day? Yeah.
Well, I got yelled at by Goose Harry Golden
Mhm.
because Eugene McCune went up on the left lane when he was bowling on the right.
Okay. Oh,
So he was loft in the gutter cap.
got it. Yeah, but he was
Yeah, but he was up on the left, and I got yelled at because I wasn't up on the approach. I said, I don't go yet.
It's not my turn.
It's not my turn. He went. Now it's my turn. I'm on the same lane. And then the other guy in the lane next was complaining. Two guys, no one ever went up on the right lane. I
Yeah.
know.
It's like yeah, I mean, getting into a rhythm in those tournaments, if
Yeah.
you're if you're a slower bowler or if you like to bowl fast, but you're crossing with slower bowlers or you're on the pair next to slower bowlers,
Right.
just waiting, sometimes just watching the Statue of Liberties up there that just sit there and pose before they throw their shot. It's like, what could you possibly be thinking about?
Absolutely.
Like, how does
Absolutely.
your hand not get sweaty just sitting there? I don't
Right.
know.
So I bowled a tournament one time, New York Garden City Bowl, PBA style. My buddy bowled A squad, and I was on B. And he crossed with Marshall Holman.
Oh, geez.
First tournament ever. And Garden City Bowl had the round ball returns, the AMF Magic Circle ball returns, with the fan in the middle. We both leagued there, so you always put your rosin bag on the fan. And kid gets up, throws a strike on his right lane. Marshall gets up, leaves a 10 pin. He walks back, gets up on the right lane, leaves a 10 pin, walks back, takes the kid's rosin bag and throws it through the back of the building. He said, if I want rosin on my ball, I'll put it on there. I don't need your rosin. How do you think the kids next 4-5 games win? Just things like that can get you out of a tournament in a hurry. Anyway.
Yeah, getting yelled at by a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That's scarring. That's type therapy type stuff.
Right, exactly. Exactly right. I don't think I'll ever survive to
Yeah,
that.
I just wanted to compete in a tournament, and now I got to see you for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, right. Or even if it's you got it's 18 games. That was game one,
Yeah,
you know. So
good luck the rest of the way.
yeah, and don't put your hand out to give him five after he throws a shot. Anyway, that it's all environment in that case. You're out of your element. You're not used to it. You go there, and I tell you, go get acclimated. You
Hmm.
know, and even if it's a no tap tournament, your first tournament ever, go there and
Yeah,
learn a little bit.
yeah. If it's an option, like with regionals, you typically have a
Yeah,
practice session.
right.
Go bowl the practice session. You don't have to bowl the whole time.
Yeah,
Usually the practice
yeah.
sessions are 2 hours long. Do not bowl the entire 2 hours.
No, and try different lanes. As a matter of fact, figure out what your cross is and only practice on those lanes.
I mean, that's smart, sure,
Yeah,
but
I've seen people do that. They go, I'm going to practice on the high end for a little while, practice on the low end for a little while, and boy, that pair was so different. Did you practice on it? No, it was like
yeah,
in the
I
middle of the
never when I if I ever for a while there I was practicing on the practice session, but you can never take what you see on Friday into
no.
Saturday so much because the lanes are going to be a little bit different from day to day, and they're going to get tighter as they go.
Right.
So if I go into Saturday with the game plan dead set on what I saw on Friday,
No, I know it. I know.
because people aren't breaking them down the same way. They're going to be
Right.
playing different parts of the lanes all
Right.
throughout Friday to try
Yeah.
different things
Yeah.
where
But
nobody's going to
yeah.
be touching certain zones on Saturday.
But if you're going to be moving pairs, and you know the pairs you're going to be moving to, you might as well go throw balls on those pairs.
Yeah.
Because
Make
it's
some
part of
notes,
the
write it
preparation.
down. Yeah,
Write it
write it
down.
down.
Right.
Yeah. Parker keeps a journal. I still think he does.
Yeah.
On every pair that he bowls on and keeps it in his notes for the next time they come back to centers.
Right. Right. Nowadays, with all of the electronics, it's easy. Put it in your phone.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
you probably still have your PDA.
my what?
Your PDA.
What is that?
Your PDA. You know what a PDA
I
is.
don't. I don't. What is it?
I forget what it stands for. Somebody in the chat with personal. Um,
You see, you don't even know what it means. You're just throwing out letters now.
PDA.
I don't know it. I never had that. I don't know what it is. So
Personal digital assistant.
yeah, whatever. You
That's
made
what
that
it
up.
stands
You
for.
made that
No,
up.
I did not.
So anyhow, you're out of your element.
Next.
Format. You got to learn the format. You got to you got to get used to the place.
Yeah, learn lane courtesy if it's double cross like a PBA event. You got to learn that ahead of time.
Right.
All right, next.
Go ahead.
Nerves.
That's interesting.
And nerves can start before you even get into the building.
That's right.
If with the nationals coming looming, you have your date set. When you start
Yep.
thinking about it ahead of time, it's like, oh, I heard, the lanes are really hard in doubles and singles. I heard this and that. I don't know if I could play that shot. What should I bring? You start all of a sudden second guessing about everything now all of a sudden before you even get there. So
one year we're going down to nationals in Corpus Christi, and my buddies come to town. We're going to drive down together, and we go to stop and have lunch. And as I'm having lunch, they call out my license plate that somebody broke into my car. I had a 350Z, and they broke into the back, shattered the back window, and stole my clothes.
And your 8-track cassettes.
Yeah, right. So now I got to go home, take my wife's truck, drive back down. And I'm figuring there's no way I'm going to bowl good. Yeah. Right. I did. I bowled decent. I shot over for the event. But it was a matter of being experienced where I knew once I stepped on the approach, it was all business. It wasn't, you have to leave what's bothering you at the door. And that's not easy to do. But, it just, you're going to have things happen before you get to the tournament that you have to set aside.
You're just a resilient, tough.
Well, you know what? You have to realize whatever happens is not the end of the world. And even if you bowl bad, it's not the end of the world. And that's the biggest problem people have, that they get nervous about bowling bad.
Yeah. You're not going to retire off the money you win in bowling at this one tournament.
No. people used to always tell me how calm I was in the finals, even if I bowled bad. And my answer to them was always the same. I'm up here bowling in the finals. You're watching.
Yeah.
Who had a better day?
You were so calm.
Yeah, if
It's
I bowled bad,
it's the prescription Quaaludes. No,
it's what it is, right? But I used to tell him, if I bowl bad, I'm still doing better than you did. So I don't care if you watch me bowl bad. I made the finals. I'm in the top 4. You know, when I bowled on the TV shows on Long Island, the same way. I was calm about it because I made the show. You didn't, and everybody at home didn't make it. They were wishing they could be on TV.
Yeah, all those
You know.
armchair quarterbacks, I tell you,
Absolutely
on the sideline,
Yeah,
wishing
yeah.
they were you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
So, I mean, the stress of traveling. I'm
Yeah, okay.
experiencing that already right now, Phil.
Yeah, but you know why? Because you're cheap.
I
That's the
I
reason.
am it's a matter of
Or you're
principle.
frugal.
It's a matter of principle.
You're
I
going
see
away for a couple of days. It's a couple of $100 more. What's the
this
big deal?
this trip is gonna all in all cost probably $2,000. You know how nice of a place I can go to in Hawaii for that?
Then go. We
I
don't.
will.
We won't miss you.
Hey, don't threaten me.
The guys don't even know you. I, of all people, won't miss you, and I know you.
That's fine. I'm gonna see you the week before, so that's enough.
That's exactly right.
I
That's
got
right.
my
Well,
fill of in the month of June.
You got
That's
your
for
fill
sure.
of Phil. You got your fill of Phil.
That's true. Jim says I got to pay for my new golf simulator. He's absolutely right.
That's right. Anyway, so yeah, you're right. Travel.
Toys aren't cheap.
Travel is always an issue.
You're no longer the top dog in your league or center. You're in a 80-lane center now.
Yeah.
You're in the stadium. There's bowlers from all over the country.
You just marched out to a song.
Yeah.
That's
some
pretty cool.
Katy Perry song probably again.
Yeah, and the guy that's probably going to do the best, the guy that was dancing to it.
Right. Does anybody? What's the walkout song? Who's bowled nationals already?
I don't know a walkout song.
What? I'm not asking. I know you haven't bowled. I'm asking the chat.
No, I meant even when I bowl, I don't know what it is.
I know because
these modern songs. A little Sinatra or something on the way out.
Yep. So
I don't even know what it is, but that's always not. It just gets your adrenaline going if you've never walked out. Walk down the center of the stadium, go left, go right.
I walked out as Maverick one year.
That's
full jumpsuit, and
that's why I need friends. I need new friends. That's why things like that.
No, you just need friends. That's the difference.
I have friends.
I'm the best friend you got.
No, exactly. What movie? So you want to bowl your best. You got a lot on the line. Maybe so you never bowled for money before.
Here we go. Joseph said Chad Murphy won't release the song until after Nationals. Dang it.
I only bowl good when they play Billy Joel songs or something. Anyway.
Yeah. Piano Man.
I had a little bit different upbringing. I bowled some tournaments, but I bowled a lot of action. So I was used to bowling for money.
Right.
So that was a little easier. But not the first time I bowled. The first time I bowled terrible. It was a house shot. It was a wall. People were striking like crazy, and I shot way under.
Mm-hmm. It's good for you.
It was good for me, but you know what?
You should have paid attention during this course.
I should exactly. So there's places that are intimidating. Get there early, walk around, get used to it.
Yeah, the worst thing is you can starting to question your abilities. When you start, it's like quicksand. One thing goes wrong, and then all of a sudden, your mind starts spacing a little bit. Then you forget to do something else, and then all of a sudden, you start thinking about your mechanics. If you start thinking about your mechanics in a big tournament,
you start thinking about your mechanics in league, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't think about mechanics. Once you step on the approach, it's got to be like what was that movie with Kevin Costner? Love It Again. With a mechanism. When you get on the approach, you have to have that blackout where you think of nothing but letting go of the ball. Johnny Petraglia said one time, and he said, and Johnny had Johnny forever, about I already knew I was going to strike before I threw that ball.
Mm-hmm. I already struck. I just have to throw the shot.
I just have to throw the shot. Yeah, basically. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have that mindset. You can't be thinking when you're bowling. Now, when you come off the approach, you want to think about what my moves are and stuff like that. But when you get up there can't be any doubt in my mind that shot's not going to be executed properly.
Yeah.
So that's the nerves. Get your nerves under control.
Which brings us to our next point of topic, which leads into lack of confidence.
Yeah. Well,
So when things start to go downhill and you
Yeah.
start to struggle,
Yep.
whereas in league, you know, even keel, spares are easy, strikes are easy, the game is easy, no worries.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you get to the tournament,
Dun-dun-dun.
things aren't going so well.
And then you get that death grip.
Yes, and your
Death
body stiffens up, and you're no longer smooth. And
Yep.
if that keeps up, another thing goes wrong, you miss a spare or two that are easy.
Yep.
Develop the full-on yips.
You got to get that crowbar to get it off your hand.
We've all been there.
You gotta not have it. Gotta have it. Gotta relax.
I was like, all I gotta do is stay clean this game, and I make the cut. You know how impossible that sounds after like you're like, okay, well, I opened the first frame. Oh, no big deal. It's the first frame. Second one, flag an easy spare. Oh, I stuck out. All right, I just got to get back into it. Double, no problem.
Now I need a 7-bagger to make the cut.
Now I need a 6-bagger and hope that guy opens in the 10th.
Yeah. Don't scoreboard watch. That'll get you in trouble. Now,
some guys they flourish on that, and some guys put too much pressure on themselves by scoreboard watching.
Well, you know what? When I say that, I'm gonna give another tip. Maybe this is a good tip. I think it is. You have to calculate what your scoring pace is versus the field.
Yeah, that's important. What the scoring pace is, but it's hard to. I mean, you go into nationals knowing what the scoring is.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm
you know what the leaders are. I'm talking about a regional or something. Yeah, right.
Right. You got to know the scoring pace. So you're at a 2-0 pace, and 2-team pace is what it looks like it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to run out of games because your score won't be high enough in any game after a certain point to get you there.
Yeah.
So your move has to be more upfront and more drastic.
You better put together some 8-baggers.
Exactly.
To make up for it.
You got a 2-0 and it needs 2-team, and you have 6 games to get there. By the third game, you're out of the wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need 260 to get there, and you ain't shot higher than 2-team. So you got to pay attention to the scoreboard in that sense, but you can't be watching your game, your score. You got to worry about one frame, one shot at a time. It can't be, well, I need a 5-bagger here. I need a 7-bagger here. You can't be. You get to that, you're done.
There have been multiple tournaments like that where I was kind of out of the number going into the last game of qualifying.
Right.
Knowing I needed that 7-bagger, and I miraculously put it together.
Yeah, I've done that.
Not desperation, but just kind of like the Hail Mary move. Like I have nothing to lose. I'm already out of it. I might as well try this.
Yeah.
And I really got to focus. I get hyper focused when I know I need a number, where if I'm in, the second or third game, I'm like, I still got time.
I once had a coach tell me in college, if you pitch that good like you did to get out of trouble before you got into trouble, you wouldn't have been in trouble at all.
It's mindset.
It's what it was. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
So it is.
Just like how Pete Weber used to amp himself up on TV and maybe even make up something that might have happened in the crowd or something bothering him, or
right,
just to get him in that mindset where he's angry.
But anger and controlling your emotions, are two different things. I mean, you have to get your emotions under check, and you have to be even keel when you're up on the approach.
Mm-hmm.
Off the approach, different story.
Yeah,
And
I put that note in there: negative self-talk, but it's very common with bowlers. Even the greatest bowlers are the worst self-help talkers in the world.
Right. Exactly.
It's a good thing that some of them are not mic'd up. Let's just start there. Especially during qualifying. Sometimes you hear it if you're watching Bowl TV or the streaming. You can hear it sometimes off in the distance.
Right.
If someone's frying out a little bit. Yeah. If you know what to listen for. All right. Which leads us into our next point. rushing.
Yeah, it
So
gets back to that mind that in the moment.
slowing the game down. And when you're in a big arena or the stadium, you're gonna find that the games go by really, really fast. All of a sudden, you blink and you're already in the sixth frame of the first game, and you're like, "Whoa, I haven't struck yet." All of a sudden, the panic
Yeah,
starts to set in.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. You have
because
to realize that each shot is its own entity.
you might
You know,
get 3, 4 shots of practice, and then off you go.
and that's I'm not even loose, barely loose by then. So
No,
I have to begin to prepare myself for the shot where I can't bend. And then as I start to get loose, you got to make that other adjustment. But you have to keep, and we said it earlier, you have to keep that tempo. You can't be up and down. It's got to be even keel.
yeah,
Um,
and that's where
that
that
game will be
pre-shot routine.
over. Right, right. Yeah, your pre-shot routine is the key. You have to be able to control a moment, because next thing you know, you're going to look up. You're in the eighth frame. And you're shooting 140,
Hmm.
and you say, "What the hell happened?" You know.
And not only on the first shot, but you don't strike on the first ball. You got a basic spare 610,
Yeah.
something like that, 3 610. Don't just grab your spare ball and get up there and set your feet and go. You know how many pins people throw away by not caring as much on the spare shot?
How many people blow their clean 30 in the first frame?
And also my 159.
159 exactly. So
Well,
you have
there's
to
two
treat
more.
each
There's
shot
two
like
more
it means
blocks.
something, right? You know.
Yeah, so we got a question that I'm going to
Go
put up
ahead.
there is from Joseph. How do you stop the negative self-talk once you find yourself doing it?
Don't talk to yourself, because you're probably your worst enemy in that case. No, I'm serious. You sit there
Yeah,
and say, "Oh man, I threw that one terrible."
it's like,
Okay, the
oh,
shot's gone.
that
You
was
can't do
pitiful.
anything about it. It's gone. Okay. If you're going to dwell on the negative, then you're better off just stay home and bowl Tuesday morning mixed league.
Right.
Um, Once you let go of the ball and it's gone, you can't go back and say, I suck. I didn't do well. I was a bad shot, because the shot's gone again. Now, if you throw multiple shots like that, and I want people to take this the wrong way, maybe you shouldn't be at the tournament
Right.
if you can't execute, or you have to learn how to execute. It's going to be expensive if you've never done it before. But the most important thing is to turn around and think positive. That
Right.
okay, I didn't throw that one really good. I probably got quick with my feet. This is after you're off the approach.
You need
I'm
to
gonna
spin the negative result into a
right.
positive
Exactly right, Nick.
future. And like, hey, I didn't. That one wasn't as clean off my hand. I really need
Right,
to work
right,
on puring this one. I really needed
right,
to get it off my hand a little cleaner. And then when
right.
you get close, even if you don't strike, okay, that was much better. Let's pick up the spare and just start thinking positive
You
after the
have to.
results,
Yeah,
even if
yeah,
it's baby
yeah.
steps. Oh, I didn't strike, but all right, that was a little better. I can still do better. Let me go pick up the spare and we'll work on it again.
Right. And especially and my buddies have a great expression. You'll hear it a couple of times. Um, they call it the Houdini double. And Houdini was a magician, a great magician. And you bowl a game and you're not striking enough, but you're making all your spares. And then you throw the Houdini double, comes out of nowhere. You throw the first shot. It might be a runaway Brooklyn on the
It could
second one.
start as a really good break. Roll 2-pin.
Right, exactly. Then they
Yeah.
throw the next shot, you throw a double, and then you shoot 2-0. Okay. Without the Houdini double, you got 180. But if you didn't make your spares, you got 140.
Mm-hmm.
So, we always call it the Houdini double. You're gonna look to shoot 2-0. I didn't hit the pocket a bunch of times. I made all my spares. I concentrated. I kept it within reason, that when I looked up, anytime I threw the double, I got a chance to shoot 2-0. And you know what? 2-0 is not a bad score at nationals if you're lost.
Yeah. The important thing
Yeah.
with tournaments, especially like long form tournaments and regionals and stuff, is let your low game be higher than everybody else's low game.
Yeah, that's the key. That's
If
right.
if you don't have that blow up game, that 130, 140, 150,
Yeah.
if you got a 180 or 190 in there, it's
It's
not
not
the
the
end of
end
the
of the world.
world. Right.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Especially if it's a 180 or 190 where you went 4-bagger or 5-bagger to finish,
Yeah.
that's a positive for the next game.
Correct.
Like you're
Correct.
lined up, move on.
Yeah.
Let's
Or
let's
at the end of the
continue that.
day, if you bowled bad all 3 games and you had a 5-bagger in a game, only shot 180, then then go drown your sorrows.
Right. Yeah, so it's important to slow down, especially if things start to go south, the game will get even faster. You'll find yourself rushing to the line. You'll find yourself just looking to hurry up and bowl,
Right.
where it should be taking the opposite. Take your time, take a breath, think about where you're setting your feet, thinking about where you're shooting, and then let the body take over.
So you got to think of it this way. When I was younger and practiced enough, I would treat every shot I made in practice like I was trying to win the U.S. Open.
Did you
I
run
didn't.
them
I didn't.
out?
I ran every shot in practice. I ran them out.
Practicing the double in the 10th and
I
just
was
running them out?
exhausted. I was exhausted by the time I was done practicing because I ran them all out. No, but
Yeah.
I treated every shot like it was the most important shot I was going to make when I was on the approach during practice, so that when it came to the real game, I was familiar with what that felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. You have to be able to get up there and perform, and you can't let outside things get to you. And the worst thing is how fast things happen. You have to control it. You have to stay at an even keel.
Mm-hmm.
If you have emotions go up and down during a 6-game or 9-game tournament like the Nationals, forget it. You got too much going on. They're tricky. You got to get it off your hand. And if you sit there and have negative talk or get too fast, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You know what I always hate is like if I have 220 max going into the 10th frame.
Yeah.
That's my worst scenario, especially if I'm struggling. Because if I don't get that first hit, I'm not shooting 200.
Yeah, that's the worst thing in the world, right? You know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I really want this first hit.
Right.
I need this hit.
Yeah.
Because then it's all cherry from here.
And you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
I bet I need a triple 4-pin. That's all it's going to come down to.
I hope I hit the pocket at that point.
Pretty much. That's funny. All right, we ready for the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, slide 6. This is a big one.
This is huge.
Huge. Lack of preparedness. So, obviously, with Nationals, they don't publish the oil pattern.
They don't even publish the song.
They don't even publish the song till after what we found out.
Right.
But there is the topography report that we talked about early on in an episode.
Gotta look at that. I learned a bad lesson with that.
Topography. And you found out after the fact.
Expensive lesson.
Right.
Should have been no brackets.
But in a lot of tournaments, they do publish what you're going to bowl on.
Yeah, the pattern.
And if you do a little research on the center, you can figure out what kind of lanes they have, whether they're AMF, HPLs, Brunswick, Anvil lane, or other wood. If you're bowling at a wood house, you need to know that ahead of time.
If you don't know that and you're going to a tournament to bowl and you didn't know it was wood,
you're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad. I didn't know that. Well, you should have known that. There's no way you should ever get beat because you were not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're good or bad. If you prepare yourself, then you did the best you could. And you didn't get outworked. When I was a kid, my dad was a professional baseball player, and he said to me, if you want to be good at what you do, you have to take 100 fly balls, 100 ground balls, and 100 swings every day.
Yeah.
You tell me, right? And I asked him why that many. He said, because if you don't do it, the other guy is.
Yeah, the other guy's already doing it.
The other guy's doing it. So you don't want to put the effort into preparing to go to a bowling tournament. Just mail me the money. I'll give you the address. And at the end of the year, I'll send you back half. You'll feel like you cashed.
That is a new service we're providing here at the Perception versus Reality podcast.
You can't go there if you're not going to prepare, because then you're looking at luck is the reason you're going to get a check.
Yeah. Or by the the small chance that they push the wrong button on the oil machine and they put
Yeah.
out your own house shot.
Exactly. So you have to go there prepared, and one of them is to do research on the lane surface and the pattern. And Nick and I spoke a little bit earlier about that. The problem people have is, and I'm not going to jump ahead when I talk about this, but they'll see a short pattern, they go, "Oh, urethane,
Urethane, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
38 feet, 36 feet,
Throwing
urethane,
urethane. I'm
throwing
already
urethane."
committed.
How many mils did they put down?
What's a mill?
Exactly. So you need to learn how much oil is put on a lane um, with each pass, because right away, oh, it could be 40 mils. That urethane ball is not going to help you. You know,
A 220 grit, it could help.
yeah, exactly, but not the grit that you had on it. So you have to really learn if you're going to learn how to do it. If you're going to bowl serious tournaments, you have to learn all the parts, and all of the parts are, you know, looking at the lane pattern, you know, and how much oil they put down. When they first started putting color in the oil on the tour,
Mhm.
every lane looks walled up, doesn't it? I mean, you looked at the lanes this weekend with the image put on the lanes.
Yeah.
It's going to throw it right at 10. It's got a hook back. Well, what people don't know is when you put the dye in the lane in the oil, in order to see the dye, it
You
has
need
to
a
be
lot of volume.
over 20 units. That's when the dye will show up.
Right.
So if I have 20 units on the 10 board and in, I could have 19 units on the 9 board and it won't show up.
Yeah, there's
So
still a lot of oil out there. And
that's
that's
why you can't
still
just
and
throw it to the gutter and get it
yeah,
back.
and that's a flat pattern.
And that's a flat pattern. But it just showed like it was more. You might have 25 units,
Yeah.
and then 23 or 21 outside. It's a flat pattern. So you have to know what you're bowling on. You can't just look at a picture of it and go, "Oh, look at that. It's I'm gonna throw it up 13.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have hold and I'm gonna have swing." You gotta learn. You gotta learn that.
Now,
So
generally, you can
yeah,
get an idea of where your break point will be based on the length of the pattern.
absolutely. That's one thing
General.
USBC did that was pretty cool, right?
Mhm.
Minus 31,
Yeah, the rule of 31, right?
31 rule, right? So if it's 45 foot, you look at you take 31 off, and that's where your ball has to come off the pattern at.
Generally.
Generally speaking, that's
Mhm.
right. So there's a
Yeah.
good starting point.
Yeah, with
You know,
the cheetah pattern, 35,
yeah,
or back in the day it
35.
was 35. So
So
you need to be
three
outside
board,
of
four
five
board,
board. Yeah.
right? Four board off at the end of the pattern.
We bowled on a lot of cheetah, and before cheetah pattern, it was called pattern E,
Was that what it
where
was called?
and we
Yeah.
bowled on a lot of old wood centers in the
Yeah.
West,
Yep. Yeah. For
places
the
I had
pitch.
never gone to prior.
Right.
And yeah, that's yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely true.
So I mean, I would do that as a starting point. You want a tip of the week from Nick and Phil is use the 31 rule to start.
Hmm.
What's the length of the oil? Subtract 31. That's where your ball has to come off the back of the pattern.
Yeah. So if you're on
On
a
that board.
45-foot pattern, you find yourself out by five board, guess what? You just shot 140. Congrats. It's the rule of the 140.
The rule of the 140, right? So and there's an example of just not being prepared. You didn't know that, and you already gave away 60 pins. Good luck and good bowling.
Yep. Start squeezing now.
Exactly. Start the vice grip.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Go ahead.
choosing the right arsenal with the bowling balls you're comfortable with and confident with.
Yeah,
Like
that's an interesting one.
that's an interesting one because how do you pick? Okay, so for our sake, I'm bringing 6 bowling balls to Reno,
Yeah, yeah.
and one of them is going to be Purple Hammer because that's my spare ball as well.
Okay. How'd you start that process?
How did I start? What?
The process of selecting those 6.
I haven't started yet,
How will
but
you start the process?
I usually start from the top down. So immediately I'm thinking first game out of the block, what am I going to need to blend out the pattern? Because it's going to be
Okay.
typically a little more wet dry. I need something that's going to have a little grit, that's going to be a little bit stronger and slower. So I'm
Right.
either going to need a stronger asymmetrical option
Hmm.
or a stronger symmetrical option
Right.
to get me out of the first game if urethane isn't in play. So And then from there, you're going to look at bowling balls that are going to get you through the bulk of your games. Once the patterns break down and develop a little bit, I still need something that's a little controllable, but stronger and more on the back end.
Right.
So then you'll look at your more benchmark symmetricals and start to get into some pearls that have maybe a little surface on it.
Okay.
And then you need to look at bowling balls that, okay, well, if they absolutely burn up and break down, I need something that's cleaner and a little more flip. So that's when balls like Katana Assault, Black Widow 2.0 Hybrid will start
Right.
coming into play, where before that, like an Outer Limits would probably be more of that smoother, stronger
Yes.
mid-range ball. So I haven't picked my arsenal yet.
Right.
There's still time.
Yep.
But picking those 5, that's the you got to pick at least 1 or 2 balls that are going to be a little slower.
Yeah.
1 or 2 for the middle parts, and hopefully there's some overlap there, because you never know what exactly you're going to need, and then you're going to need some bowling balls that are cleaner. I typically never have an issue with too much hook. I can always control too much hook.
Right.
With my ball speed and loft.
Yeah.
So I'm probably never going to bring a ball like like a raw hammer or a rhino,
Yeah.
or something that's super weak,
right.
Where I don't think the lanes are going to develop that much, where I'm going to need something that doesn't have a lot of friction built into it.
Right. So you're more sophisticated at how you predict what you're going to bring with you. I, on the other hand, are somewhat archaic.
Yeah.
I'll lay out, if I have 8 balls that I have drilled, I'll just kick out every other one.
Okay. I mean, you're just going to throw intel anyway, right?
1 through 8 goes from the weakest to the strongest.
Yeah.
If I start at the high end, I'll take 8, 6, 4, 2. If I want something to go from the low end, I'll go 1, 3, 5, 7. And that's what I take.
I mean, that's great. I mean, when I was bowling regionals full time, I had 3 balls.
Exactly right.
I had 3 balls that I brought to every tournament, and they pretty much saw action at every tournament. And then I added a couple here and there
on one end or the other, right?
But I was or just in the middle, just in between, for whatever reason. But
yeah,
those 3 balls were going to get the majority of the playing time, and if those didn't work, I probably didn't cash.
Yeah. See, I don't. What you do is you look at what you think you're going to need based on how you're going to play the lanes. I'm probably going to need something this way, that way. And I may not. I probably have lost my edge by not doing that. But I just lay them all out and say, this one, this one, this one, and it's every other ball.
Yeah. Well, it goes in a game plan. I have an idea. I have an idea of where I want to play the lanes.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I understand,
Yeah.
The reason I don't do that is I just know what my next move is off that ball. So I don't think there's right. I don't think there's a lot of moving around on tougher patterns, and maybe that's why I'm left-handed. Maybe it's not because I don't have to move all over the place. I'm not going to have to move zones.
No.
I'll use the 31 rule to start, or get an idea what the 31 rule is to start, and that's the zone I'm probably going to stay in. And I'm just going to try to stay there and change balls.
You also don't want to get in the zone where the right-handers are.
They're going to be all over me, right? Exactly right.
Yeah,
right.
Especially with more surface being thrown than typical league.
So that's why I try to go a ball that's 2 steps up.
Yeah.
4 or 5 board difference in the amount of hook, and those are the balls I take. And I'll change my hand position, I'll move my feet, but I'll try to stay as much as I can in that spot. And even for league, if you think about your league bag, or local travel, if you're bowling on house shots, you got to just sort of look at, do I need something a little stronger or a lot stronger? And the worst thing is to bring in 10 balls
and not be able to strike with any of them.
And because you're confused. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm trying to, have your core and then build around it.
And also, don't forget about your accessories.
Yeah.
Well, things are gonna come up, and it always seems like when you're traveling, when you fly somewhere,
right?
Oh man, my slide sole just came off. The Velcro went bad. My thumb came out. I had a thumb break at nationals 2021 at the Plaza. My third shot in practice. I threw my practice shot. You know, I was
You know,
playing out towards the gutter to break them down, and I threw it in the gutter, and the ball rattled around as it went through the gutter, and it chipped off a chunk of my thumb, right? My inner. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have another thumb. So guess what? Luckily, my boy Memo over there in the
yep, in the booth.
in the booth, I sent him a message. I'm like, hey man, I need a new inner, like as fast as you possibly can, right? So I just told him what I needed drilled. I'm like, I need a 1 and 30-second hole drilled. Here's the pitch. You know, I gave him a ball to, you know, use as so he can put the inner in and then drill off of it. But here's the pitch. Here's the hole size. I just need a little bevel, buzz out the sides just a smidge. Good to go.
Right.
And he got it back to me in like the second or third frame. So I taped it up and did all that. But I had to bowl the first 3-4 frames with my thumb that had a chunk broken out of it. So without that extra thumb, you better believe I'm taking extra thumbs with me wherever I go now. Just one.
Yeah.
But that was on me. If I didn't have that kind of hookup at the
you'd have been dead in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's the way people are. Well, nowadays with the interchangeables, you got to have, you know, 2 thumbs, 3 thumbs, or whatever. If you swell or don't swell, you know, I'm a round hole tape guy.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was too, because it was easy to get a.
Oh, that's right. You were right. But I don't, you know, I don't have a lot of work done. So to me, I drill every ball round hole and just tape it up. But you're right. You know, you have to go there realizing that you're going to need certain things. Maybe you need a little easy slide, get your thumb out of the ball.
My hand swells in the state of Nevada. My lips chap and my thumb swells.
He has 50 thumbs.
Yeah.
Because I shrink in Montana.
Yeah, it could
so
be.
When I go there, I have to have a different thumb from Montana.
It could be freezing cold. It's sometimes freezing cold in the stadium.
Put tape in it.
I already have like 10, 15 pieces in there. But I'm just saying, like, bring tape. Like, if you don't have tape.
Today, my thumb swelled.
Here, keep going. Hold on, I got you something.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah,
hold on. You got?
Go on. Go on.
You got the violin again?
Yeah, I got the violin. I got the violin. Here, I got the little tiny violin. Go ahead.
My thumb is no good. Look at that. I have 15 pieces of tape. What am I going to do? Well, let me go get another thumb. And then when they break out, you wonder why. Look what happened. My thumb broke. Whatever.
Very nice. Okay. I'm a friend of you on Facebook if I knew how to do it.
No game plan going into the tournament. That's interesting because if you have an idea, if you looked at the pattern and you got your equipment with you, you looked at the pattern, you got some Scotch-Brite pads or Sierra pads that you're going to use to adjust the surface, you have a game plan, you know, and trying to figure out the game plan during practice is usually not good. Unless you have a practice before time, you know, the day before. Like Nick said, a lot of times they don't play the same. They might be tighter down lane the second day. But you have to have a game plan that you can build around. Mm-hmm. And you know, you got to be prepared. And again, the other guy's prepared. And if you're both the same talent and he's more prepared than you, he beats you. It's pretty simple.
That is pretty simple. It's very simple.
Yeah.
We simplified it so much.
It really is. I mean, you think about it, you got to do the work.
Right. And the last one, which I'm worried about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Being physically capable of competing.
Endurance.
Yeah. You know what? And again, I got a bad knee. And that usually gets worse.
Yeah. I mean, if you bowl 3 games a week and you don't practice and you're looking to go bowl an 8-game tournament and this is your first tournament.
Yeah. You're going to be in trouble.
You're in for a shock. Things happen to your hand and body in 8 games that they don't.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
And you got to build up to it, you know. Earl Anthony used to practice until he was very tired, exhausted. Then he practiced a little more so that he could execute shots when he was tired.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good way to practice, you know. Throw shots when you start to get tired rather than just pack it in. Bowl, you know, half a game more that you're executing when you're in that stressed, tired situation, you know. And that's one way to get ready for for a tournament.
That's a little different kind of tired. That's
Yeah.
that does work on your endurance, but I mean, you also have to think about the pace that you're bowling at in the tournament.
Absolutely. My biggest problem at nationals is walking all over the place.
I don't like to sit down.
Yeah, but I'm talking about taking the balls from the booth or wherever they are.
Oh yeah, that's a
and then
long
dragging them all over the place. I don't like to bring out more than one bag. So that's why, even like when I go bowl the Bowler's Journal, I bring everything to the Bowler's Journal.
Yeah.
And that's in Reno, it's not terrible. You're in the same place, but at South Point, I mean, think about that. You got the bowling balls in a locker up by the arena, and now you're going to go bowl the Bowler's Journal at the main center.
I ship stuff.
Ship? How do you ship it to the?
I ship everything.
To where?
Wherever I want. Wherever they'll bring it to me.
So you put the balls in a locker in the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, in the arena.
Absolutely.
And you're going to bowl the Bowler's Journal in the main bowling center.
Well, why don't you just ship 2 sets of arsenals to each?
I knew this was going to go bad sooner or later. I knew it would. It did. Anyway, that part alone is exhausting.
You got plenty of money. Just give a kid $10 to drag your bag to here. I need this on lane 10 on the regular plaza.
We were coming down the escalator one time. My buddy Joey's behind me, and I dropped my bag, and now the bag fell at the end of the escalator. And he's coming down behind me. He had to jump over my bag, and he's got a bad leg. It's great. We could have almost killed him.
Good job.
And the 7 old ladies after him would have been a murder. I'd have been like a serial killer.
I would have called that like involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, I would have done too. I'd have done time in
Clark County Prison.
Clark County Prison.
All right.
Let's
go on the next slide. We got a couple more.
Slide. Okay.
I mean, keeping your equipment maintained, surfaces not fresh, oil not extracted. I mean, if you have a full arsenal stuff, I mean, typically you're probably not putting a ton of games on everything, but if you got one ball that you use more than others, there's a good chance that your grips are going to be worn out, and you may not know it because grips don't just wear out overnight. They go slow, so you don't realize it until you get to a tournament. And you're like, you know what? This ball feels really sloppy compared to the rest of them.
They all got to feel the same.
Right. And then changing your tape out. If you have tape in there that's not white anymore, that used to be white, and you're going to, say, Las Vegas in June,
it's going to be gooey.
It might be gooey. And guess what? You're not getting out of that thumb hole.
Let's talk about that for 1 second.
Let's talk about
Here's a scenario. You're going to love this one. This happened to me. As knowledgeable as I am about bowling and prepared as I have about bowling, it's happened to me. I got 1 in the front, 1 white in the front, 4 black in the back, or whatever I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now the white gets gooey. I got to take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I going to... I go many times, do not have a cleaner
solution.
Clean out the goo.
Yeah.
To put that tape in, to take the tape out and put new tape in.
Well, that comes down to the last point here. You need to check your stuff out before you go.
Yeah.
Or in your case, have more than 1 piece of white and back off on the black so you can replace that top piece. That top piece, so you still have that texture.
Or since COVID, I have collected all of the wipes that they gave me on the airplane.
There you go.
And I have like 20 of them, and they're in my bag.
They used to make Columbia used to make those little wipes and the little.
We did.
Yeah, no.
I know, but I don't like carrying a bottle of anything when I go travel.
No,
because it ends up all over the place.
Neither does the TSA, by the way.
They don't like that either. No, I drink that, but I put those little wipes. I keep them in my bag, and the little alcohol wipes. So when I take tape out when I'm traveling, I can clean that thumb hole. So a lot of I'll tell you the other part. If you swell, you got to tape all the tape out of the back of your thumb, and you can't get that goo off. You're done.
Yeah.
So
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. So you have to have little stupid stuff like that, little tricks.
Yeah. So going back to surfaces a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to resurface all your stuff before you go and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna need this one at 500, 1000. I'm gonna need that one at 2000. Right. Bring pads with you because you can adjust your surfaces in practice, and you can get a better idea when you're there. Okay, I really like this ball. I just need a little bit more surface just to get it to slow down a little more.
Right.
If you already go in there and the ball's 1000 grit, you're gonna have a lot harder time bringing that surface up than you would bringing it down.
Correct.
So
That's correct.
bring a variety of pads with you. I always bring 800, 1000, 2000. That's pretty much, and maybe a 1500 pad. But
Right.
typically, if I just need to knock the shine off of something to give it a little grit, 2000. But if I'm
Yep.
starting out, probably a light 1000, maybe a 1500.
Sure. Sure.
And if I really needed to dig in something, if I need to like touch up a urethane ball or something, 800 grit.
Or you could roll it around in the parking lot.
Well, it's a long walk. Remember?
It's true. Yeah, remember it is.
All
Throw
right.
it down the escalator.
It's a great idea. Next slide. Wrong choices.
Yeah.
So going into the tournament with the mindset of playing the lanes like you do at home. Like, hey, I stand on the big dot. I throw it the second arrow. That's my line.
I'm staying there till it comes to me.
Right. It's great if it works. But guess what? The USBC knows that works on house shots.
Maybe they're tricking us this year. They're going to put that out. And no one found it.
No one found it yet because nobody thought to
looked
throw.
there. Nobody
Yeah.
thought about standing on a big dot, throwing it up 10.
Yeah.
You gotta have an open mind going into the tournament. You have to be able to recognize what's going on around you. Look, that's why I tell you go there early. Look at the other people, how they're playing them. Go to the
Right.
pair you're bowling on.
Watch the
And
teams.
watch the team. Watch the teams.
And
Go
find a
look
team.
at that chart, the topography chart.
Yeah, go find if you're in happen to see bowlers bowling well and working together.
Yep.
Hang out behind their pair and watch. There's so much information you can get from watching.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to go sit there.
For me, that's more important than practicing on the pattern.
Yeah.
If I can watch other bowlers do it, I'm going to have
Yeah.
a better idea.
That's usually the one time I sometimes am a little rude.
You?
Nicker. If I go to that tournament, I'm there to bowl, and I don't mind saying hello to people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'll get there early and go sit down in the stands and watch the pair I'm bowling on, if there's any lefties around there or whatever. And inevitably somebody wants to come up and have a chat.
Yeah.
So there I am trying to pay attention. And I don't want to sound like I'm rude and not pay attention to the guy, but I'm not listening to the person that's talking to me.
We need to get you some over the ear.
I'm telling you, I need them because I want to watch. I'm there as a bowler now.
I'll pay for a face tattoo that says "buzz off."
But you got to go do it. You got to sit there and you got to put the time in. That's part of preparedness. You got to be ready. You got to have something nobody else has, and that's one of the things. The mindset,
right?
So.
And once again, if things start going bad, don't throw away frames because you're frustrated. I've seen so many times people leave a washout, whatever, and they don't even try to, they just go up and just huck it and they miss 3 count.
Yeah. Get all you can.
Get every pin you can. Like, okay, like you went to the face 3, 6, 10, and you just fast track it and chop it, or you miss it way right. And you just it's like. You know how many pins you give away from being upset and being frustrated?
Sure. The other thing is we didn't talk about it as much, but if you feel bowling for money is an issue, don't get into brackets. And then somebody will say, "Wow, look how good you bowled. You didn't get in the brackets." Well, would you have bowled that good if you did?
Right.
So you have to sort of look at it and say, you know what, the money's important to me. I can't afford it. But I want to bowl bracket. And the brackets make you squeeze. Don't get in the brackets. We'll get in way less. There's no big deal.
Remember, you're there to win an eagle.
Well, or at least
cash,
right? Because you want to be competitive. You want to have a good showing, and you don't want to add something to the pile that's going to make it worse
or make you feel worse if you have a bad day.
Yeah, I shot 160 the first game. There goes all my brackets. Well, there's your day. There's your day.
Mm-hmm.
So
battling poor ball reaction with the wrong ball for too long.
Can't out bowl bad ball reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do
We got a question there. Wrong ball. How do you know what too long really means?
Depends on the scoring pace.
Yes. If you're not striking and everybody else is, you're in the wrong ball. Or you're in the wrong part of the lane, or both.
Right, exactly. But, again, you got to watch what's going on around you.
Yeah.
On your pair, even with your guys, if you're at your team, who's playing them the right way, who's whacking them. And we're talking about nationals. I'm talking about any tournament you go
Hmm.
to. You could be hitting the pocket every single shot and not striking on a house shot or a local tournament, and you have to. Mark Roth once said, "The difference between a great bowler and a good bowler is a great bowler made the move before the good bowler even thought about it."
Hmm. They get
So you
ahead of it.
watch it, yeah, yeah. You got to be ahead of it. You got to look at what's going on. If you're leaving 10 pins and you don't know why you're leaving the 10 pin, well, if you're throwing it good, you can tell that, and you got to be honest with yourself. Just because the ball went forward towards the head pin doesn't mean it should strike.
Just because you hit the pocket doesn't mean
Doesn't
it was
mean
a good shot.
right, exactly. If you feel you made really good shots and you're leaving 10 pins or whatever you are, okay, you're probably in the wrong ball.
Hmm.
Okay, now what ball do? You have to notice. We did a whole segment on that. Watch how the 10 pin goes out. Ring tens, lazy 10, swishy sevens. We talked about that whole segment. So you got to be able to recognize what my ball needed to be doing. The worst thing to do is lying to yourself, thinking that you're throwing it good and I'm not striking. If you
That,
threw it good,
that's just ego.
and you want to put your again, send me the money, and at the end of the year, I'll send you back half, and you can tell everybody you cashed. Because if that ego gets in the way, then you're never going to make money bowling. You're not going to do well in tournaments. You have to recognize what's going on and be honest, and then watch what other people are doing. What are
Yeah.
they throwing?
Yeah. To get an idea, you need information. It's all about the more you can
Got
get.
to
If you have
process.
bowlers that bowl like you,
Yeah,
that are nearby, that are playing the lanes and
yeah,
doing something different,
yeah.
take an idea of what they're throwing, what
Right.
part of the lanes they're doing.
Yep.
It could be a small change for you, but that's the difference between striking and not striking.
Yeah. Too long is if it's too long. If you make 3 or 4 really good shots in a row and you left the same thing, that's the definition of insanity.
Do
Doing the
something
same thing different.
different.
Do something different. That's right.
And then on the flip side, the guy who or girl who goes to changing balls right away
Mm-hmm.
when they mistake a bad shot for bad ball
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah. And I watch a lot of not flow bowling, whatever it's called now, bowl TV, and I watch a lot of the pros, and I watch a lot of the games, and inevitably I'll see a guy make 5 or 6 really good shots, strike a couple of times, and then he'll make make a bad shot, not miss his target. He just physically didn't throw it good. Comes back and goes in the bag for another ball because
You know
that
how many,
reaction wasn't good.
how many times I've seen that at bowling ball demos back in the day where we
Yeah.
get someone fitted into a generic fit
Right.
to try out a new ball. They go up, they hang up in the thumb, it gets 3 off the left. That ball sucks.
That ball sucks.
That ball sucks.
Operator error.
That ball sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
too
Well,
common.
yeah. Or what do I need? And you tell them they need a lesson,
Yeah.
not a ball.
You
So
need
that,
a
you got to be honest with the shot, and you got to realize if you're not pure in them, then you have to expect something less than perfect.
Yeah.
If you're pure in it and you're not striking, it's the ball. But if you're not pure in it and you're changing balls, you're just going to amplify the problem.
and knowing which ball to go to give you that extra kick
It's
in that same
preparing.
zone. That's
Right.
being prepared and knowing your equipment. That's very
That's right.
important.
Yeah, you got to put the time in. I'm telling you, that's the most important thing. Go put the time in. If you're going to bowl tournaments, put the time in. If you're going to be a social bowler, bowl once in a while with your buddies, different story.
Fine. But
Yeah,
don't
no,
get
that's
upset.
You can't be upset about it. You can't get mad at yourself. You can't have negative talk that what am I going to do? I'm terrible. No, you know what? You're just maybe not prepared. Go
Damn
prepare yourself.
two-handers.
I hate them. No, I don't hate them.
All
Anyway,
right. Final slide. And this one kind of goes towards more bowling PBA events, regionals.
yeah.
And sometimes on the draw of what your squad is going to be at
Mhm.
nationals, star watching.
Oh God.
How many? When I bowled my first U.S. Open, I was like 60% bowler, 40% fan.
I'm here. Look at me.
Yeah, I'm bowling with Ricky Ward, and I'm bowling next to, I don't know, Norm Duke.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Right.
It's like
Exactly.
it's very easy to be distracted by a star player,
Right.
especially if they're doing well, because all the attention's going to be on them.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
a natural thing though to be drawn to someone that is a high caliber player.
Yeah, and
You
if
become a
you're go ahead. I'm sorry.
you become a spectator.
Yeah, if you're a beginner bowling tournaments, to take it to the next level down or two, and the best bowler from the house is on your pair, you could be intimidated by that quite
Absolutely.
easily. And you got to remember, he's not. It's not an offense defensive game. You're not going to have the defensive. You want to go out there and get as many pins as you can on every shot you throw. So you got to pay attention to why you're there and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be a spectator, go sit down for the next squad and watch them bowl.
Yeah, buy pro-am tickets.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what we got. So
That was all we had today. Took a long time.
yeah, I told you that was going to take a while.
I know. We have any questions that we can touch real quick?